Who would check our fact checkers? So my solution to this problem is quite simple. You have to become the fact checker.
I saw the sign in the front, I saw the Uber. He got out of the car. There was, I'm peeping him from my golf cart, to the left. There was no communication with the driver or anything. He just got out. So he starts coming, he's beelining. He's got his head down. He's on a mission. He's on a mission. He sees my golf cart and he starts running to the building, inside the building. Right when he starts running inside the building, I'm naive. I'm kind of chasing him to go get, pull up in front of the building to go in and see what he's kind of doing. Dude, I'm talking about, he ran in and not even a minute after he was in, I heard the first bang, like, bah! And I'm like, uh-oh. Right? I'm like, what? So I got back in the golf cart. I'm starting to turn. I'm getting out. As soon as I saw him, I said, that's Nick. I didn't know his name at the time. Okay. But I'm texting all the security guys. Who's the kid who used to wear camo mask? Who used to wear the camo? Who used to do this? Who used to be crazy? I'm texting all the guys to get his name so I can give it to the BSOs. Then one of my guys said, Nick. Then I went to the AP and I said, you remember Nick? Who's that? He said, Nick Cruz. Boom. And once he said it, I knew it. I'm telling you, I knew who the kid was because we had a meeting about him last year, and we said if there's going to be anybody who's going to come to the school and shoot the school up, it's going to be that kid. I knew it. I'm telling you, I knew who the kid was because we had a meeting about him last year, and we said if there's going to be anybody who's going to come to the school and shoot the school up, it's going to be that kid.
Cruz was later captured, and it was Andrew Medina who deputies brought to the scene to identify Nicholas Cruz as the shooter. Well, now Medina told a bit of a different story to the Sun-Sentinel, saying that he did not specifically recognize Cruz when Cruz came on campus, and that there was never a meeting where Cruz was mentioned as a potential shooter.
5901 Pine Island Road. Visit Stillman Douglas 72 Sierra Sector, active shooter. Unknown how many people injured at this time. One call is advising lots of blood.
Request the units go to the football field for the shooting.
10-4.
Moving to the football field.
10-4.
Gunshot victim, he's by the entrance to Westglades on the west side of the school.
North side by the fence. Can you advise that for the patient?
East side by the fence. Chief 43, you on?
Action east side by the fence.
4, fire rescue is being notified.
Gary, does he know where the shooter is? We don't know, but we're entering the building, in front of the 13 building, building 13. 17 Kilo 4, myself are entered. Does anybody have bolt cutters? I can get this kid out of the fence. He's stuck in the fence. I need bolt cutters. The coach is with him. See if he can help him over the gate.
Oh, I think I mentioned I was the first unit on scene, first rescue unit on scene. The only immediate thing that went through my mind was go, get, and get away. knew in the back of my head the shooter was still there and he was probably still active. By that last report of that child being shot through the window, I knew it wasn't secure. As I exited our rescue, a police officer came up to me and said, "I have a victim. Let's go. I have a victim on the field. I need bolt cutters." Apparently, the victim was on another side of a fence that was locked, and fortunately, we do carry bolt cutters on our unit. So I opened the door. I asked my partner to exit the vehicle, grab our gear, and let's go. We started taking our gear down a sidewalk, and my immediate thoughts were, I got a fence on my left, a fence on my right. I'm pretty much pigeonholed, and I've got a lot of yardage in between me. Chief Babnick was in front of me. A police officer threw him a bulletproof vest, and I thought for a brief second, I said, wow, this is serious. By the time we got about maybe 100 yards or more to a field house is where we were directed. That's where we came in contact with Kyle. Apparently, people on scene helped him over the fence instead of having to cut through the lock at the time, so they got him to safety. And all I remember getting in that room was checking everyone's hands, watching everybody, making sure there were no weapons around us, and keeping everybody away from a window. Because there were people just here, there, and everywhere. Some were wearing vests, some I had no idea who it was, but I recognized Sergeant Heinrich from dealing with him in the past, so I knew there were familiar faces out there that were looking out for us.
Routinely, I do field maintenance on the field in my spare time. I'll go there before practice and drag the field or water the field, cut the infield, stuff like that. It's obviously a tedious task to keep up a baseball field. So on this day, I was out. I just finished working on the grass area, and I was actually watering the infield when the fire alarm went off. The fire alarm went off, and I was an SRO before. I spent several years at Coral Springs High School before I became promoted, and routine thing. So the fire alarm goes off. I'm still doing what I'm doing out on the field, and I see kids starting to walk out from into the senior parking lot, which is directly north of the 12 building. You know, they're just walking out normally. I hear what I now know to be 5 or 6 gunshots. At first, I honestly thought they were fireworks. I thought the kids were screwing around. I thought maybe someone lit off some fireworks in the school, set off the fire alarm. That's what I was thinking. The kids were really not reacting in the parking lot. They were just walking. Looked like they were messing around type of stuff, you know, typical high school thing when kids get out for a fire alarm. And then all of a sudden, the situation changed, obviously. Kids started to run, kids started to scream. That time I heard a round of probably about another 5 or 6 shots. Obviously, I dropped the hose that I was using to water the infield and ran towards the parking lot, which is where the kids were. Immediately when I ran into the parking lot, I encountered a young student. I have permission from his mother to give him his name. His name is Kyle. I'm not going to give you his last name. But Kyle had a massive gunshot wound to his, I can't remember which leg, ankle area, lower ankle area, I think. I was able to grab him and take him back to where I previously was, which is the baseball area, which they have a clubhouse, in which there was one of our coaches and a parent that was actually in the clubhouse. We have a first aid kit in the clubhouse, so I was able to go ahead and bandage that, do a compression bandage the best that I could with what we had, and then we handed him off, and immediately fire department was outside the door.
He looked at me and I looked at him, and he pointed the gun and I dove.
He was shot in the ankle. In the middle of the chaos, he fought to get away.
I was definitely freaked out.
As the shooter kept blasting bullets, Kyle says he initially found the courage to run outside with a friend.
I was like, we're gonna run. I'm gonna run. I'm getting out of here, and I'm getting out of here alive.
But then he had another close encounter with the shooter.
He was shooting at me again, and I could see the debris of the bullets hitting the wall and falling off. And that's when it really hit me. I was really scared, because I really thought I was not getting out of this alive.
Still, he kept running. He says he saw dead bodies along the way, but he made it outside and toward a group of familiar faces.
I ran towards them, and I was like, please help me, I've been shot.
Soon enough, he was getting the medical attention he needed.
Kyle's face darkens when he talks about confronting the killer at his school 2 weeks ago.
because I really thought I was not getting out of this alive because I thought he was coming toward me.
A round from the AR-15 tore through his ankle, and he was losing a lot of blood.
The first door I went to was jammed. There was sadly another girl who passed away on the other side, and I could not get it open.
Somehow he managed to run down 3 flights of stairs on that badly wounded ankle and make his way outside.
And that's when I saw Jeff, the police officer, the nicest guy ever.
And I heard a round of probably about another 5 or 6 shots.
Off-duty Coral Springs Police Sergeant Jeff Heinrich happened to be at the school that day working on the ball fields. He ran towards the danger and found Kyle.
He grabbed me, he's like, okay, we're getting out of here.
He gave Sergeant Heinrich a complete description of the shooter, what he was wearing, even the type of weapon he was using.
He was spot on.
And you were the person who came face to face with the gunman. Tell us what you were able to tell police about that.
Well, I was able to tell the police the type of clothing he was wearing, the type of gun, the optics, and the magazines that he was using.
Where he was located.
Yeah, where he was located.
Well, that really helped them. I mean, they were able to arrest him in part because of that.
One of the police officers came in, and he was checking up on me and how I was doing, and he's like, where do you know where the shooter is? Do you know what he looks like? I was like, yeah. His gray black sweater, hoodie on, and some jeans. And he's like, do you know what weapon? I was like, AR-15, and like I described everything to him, and he's like, all right, thank you, and they went off. So.
Units be advised, District 17 is working the active shooter at Stoneman Douglas. We have a victim. The shooter's at the football field. Field 2, I hear shots fired by the football field. Shots fired by the football field. Shots fired by the football field, heard.
One of the victims opens the exterior door and in the stairwell. So we believe that the opening of the door allowed those rounds to project outward and make it clearly audible to those outside the building.
A full description of what he saw as the shooter, what he was wearing, and that he confirmed that there were people that had been shot, including himself, from him, and what building he was in.
Just a follow-up question. A lot of times when people are experiencing this trauma, they say it's a blur, I don't remember very much. So specifically, I'm interested in, was he very detail-oriented? Did he see a lot? Was he able to...
He was spot on.
Yeah, his gray black sweater, hoodie on, and some jeans. And he's like, do you know what weapon? I was like, AR-15, and like I described everything to him, and he's like, all right, thank you, and they went off. So.
Victim saying it's a male in a hoodie he could not describe with at least an AR-15, if not an AK-47.